What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're doing something that I've had planned ever since I put the radio in the truck. So if you guys have been following along, you guys know when I put this radio in the truck, I went ahead and ran an auxiliary wire and coax cables because I plan on putting an amp and subs in this truck. That's what we're gonna be doing today. So what I gotta do first, I have to pull this rear seat out because there's a CD player, an aftermarket CD player from like the early 2000s underneath the seat. I have to get that taken out. And then behind the seat, we have this little storage thing that's got the factory jack. It's where I keep a lot of the extra fluids and rads and stuff. We're gonna be taking that out as well. I can always put that stuff in the back now that we have the tonneau cover. And the amp and subs that we're putting in it are actually out of the 85. I got this amp and subs when I was in high school, and they still work perfectly fine to this day. It's a Memphis audio something or another amp. I don't know, it's a competition amp. I bought it when I was in high school. I'm not big into audio, but I do like a little bump in my trunk sometimes. And then the subs are two Kicker Shallow Mount 12 competition CRs or something like that. I don't freaking know, but this box will fit behind the seat back there. It's gonna give it some bass. I ain't got any bass right now. I wanted to hold off on doing this until I could put some new 6x9 speakers in the back pillars, but I don't have an extra $120 to spend on speakers right now, so we're just gonna throw them in. I should still be able to access the speakers in here. If not, it's like 4 bolts to take the seat out and move that box out of the way and replace the speakers. So if I have to do that, I have to do that. It's not the end of the world. But for whatever reason, Georgia decided to be freaking cold today, and it's in the high 40s, and it's April, and I don't know why it's cold, because it was like literally like 85 like 4 days ago. I'm not a fan. Yeah, so we're gonna hurry up and try and get this done. Hopefully the sun comes out and visits us soon. But what I'm gonna do first is pull this seat out and pick you guys up from there.
No.
Alright guys, 25 minutes later, everything is out and got the back vacuumed. One of you, this is like a month ago, commented about these being missing and said that water can seep in through here and go to the back. And I think you're spot on, because you see that water line right there? I don't think it's coming from the back window. I mean, I'm not positive, but I don't think it is. But that water line, it's pretty level all the way across. So I'm thinking you're right. I looked these up. They're on eBay. They're like $55. I think I'm gonna order a set of those and see if we can stop that leak. You had said how you think some of this, the bubbles in here might not be from this being from the coast. It might be from this leaking. And you had mentioned about this seal right here being rusty. And I think you're pretty spot on, dude. I don't remember exactly who said it, but one of you guys watching said it. And I think you're very right. So nothing's wet back here currently, and we had a really nasty storm the other day, so I don't know if it's still leaking or if this is old or what, because nothing back here is wet. I mean, underneath the carpet, nothing's rusted, but you can definitely tell there is a water line there, which tells me that it has leaked in the past. So, I mean, nothing through here is rusty. It's all pretty clean on both sides. But there's definitely been water in here before. Who knows, maybe this back window has been replaced, but there was a sticker on there from like 2002, 2003, somewhere in there. So, I mean, I doubt it. I don't know. I'm just spitballing at this point, but now we're gonna get our amp out of this truck get it thrown over in here. It's actually not mounted in that truck. It's literally just sitting underneath the seat. It used to be mounted. And then I took it out and I had it in the cat eye for a little while. And then I took it out of the cat eye, put it back in there. But those subs have been in there since I was 16 years old. They have not came out. I bought that box at a yard sale for $50 and got the subs for my 16th birthday or 16th Christmas or 17th, something like that. I don't know. I was in high school and I loved them then, and I don't want anything crazy for this truck. I debated on building a box to go underneath the seat, but I like having that under the seat storage per se, where like you can just shove something small underneath there. That way if there's people sitting in the back seat, they just shove it underneath the seat so it's not at their feet. But I also do have the tonneau cover now, so if there is anything back here that, you know, hey, I don't want it out in the weather, just put it in the bed. I think I'm gonna mount this to one of my pieces of plywood over there and put it in the back so it doesn't flip over, and that way I can still store stuff in it and just have it like on the side. I think that'd be a pretty good idea. But enough rambling on, let's get that amp out. Short little while later, we have the amp in here and we have the subs in here. Subs fit almost perfect. I'm gonna push that side back in, but I just realized for the last like 2 years the passenger side sub hasn't even been hooked up to the amp, so I've just been using the driver side right here and it's been working great. So I'm interested to see, because I was like, man, this thing sounds pretty good for just having one sub hooked up. I thought both were running, so I'm interested to see how it sounds now with both of them running behind the seat. And honestly, this MDF back here should be a little bit of a sound deadening coming from the back of the truck, because just having this out of the cab of the F-150, it's so much more echoey in there. But we've got to run our power and ground. The ground is probably just going to go right here. That'll be the most simple, best ground, to just have this hooked right here, then straight to the ground right here. But the positive, we're going to have to run from the battery through the firewall and through all this trim. This is our auxiliary wire, so this is actually wired to the auxiliary on the radio. So as soon as the radio turns on, the amp will turn on, and then we have our coax cables right here, which will plug in right here, and what that does is whenever the radio sends out sound signal, it's going to transmit through here, go through the amp's going to then transmit the sound to the subs to produce low vocal hits, just to make the subs hit. That way we're not getting mids and highs to our subs, and where we would normally be getting door speaker mids and highs. But you can run this for mids and highs and run it to mids and high speakers. I just have it set up for lows. If you're interested in what kit I'm using, move our Avalon King out of the way. I'm using this Boss 8-gauge wiring set. Bought it off Amazon for like $25. And oh, yes guys, I know this is a mess. This is what happens when I get in between projects. I just finished the move bumper yesterday and I haven't cleaned up from it yet. But this kit right here was like 20 bucks on Amazon, and it comes with everything you need to wire up the amp. So we've got our ground, our inline fuse for our power wire, we've got some wire loom for, I'll use that for the power wire. We've got some speaker wire, dump this out. We've got our power wire, which is just 8-gauge, which is plenty enough. This is only a 600 watt amp, powering two small, they're shallow mount kit, they're 12, so 600 watts is perfectly fine. I'm not going to overpower them, but they're not underpowered by any means. And then we've got all of our fittings for a different wire. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this ran first, run this from our battery. I'm going to disconnect the negatives on the battery. That way if this grounds out anywhere, it doesn't spark and cause us to blow a fuse. So let's get after it. Just to show you guys where I run my wire through the firewall, there's a section down here that goes straight through the firewall. It's where I ran the wires for my aux beam switch right here. Straight through the firewall. It's actually a clutch master cylinder assembly hole or whatever. If you were to ZF6 swap this, I believe, don't hold me to the correct ZF, I think it's a ZF6. If you were to ZF6 swap this, there is a hole where you would put your clutch assembly, but this is an automatic, so I have already that made hole in the firewall, so I've just been using that. I have a grommet on it, and that's where I'm going to feed this wire through. I'm going to go ahead and run the wire before I connect it to the battery, just to be safe. And then once I have it ran all the way back to the amp, I'm not going to connect it to the amp yet. I'm going to go ahead and splice in our fusible link and then do all that. Just letting you guys know what I'm doing, so throughout the time lapse you kind of understand what route I'm going with.
Yeah, it's a hot day. I'm hanging in the sunshine. You should hit me with the splash gun so I cool down. Won't you come on over? We can party till the sun's down. Baby, let me buy you a drink while we're dancing a blink. I could go for some Queen Bee too. Bass is going boom boom. Baby, if you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. You can come on over. We can take the roller coaster. And you know everybody's looking for a ride in the water slide. Water slide. Water slide. Surfing on a wave of good feelings. Well, it's just another Friday in paradise.
All right, guys, I'm gonna try and tell you this fast before the wind picks back up again. But how this works is you want to splice the wire within about 5-6 inches of the terminal, and then, so I'm gonna try and block the wind. You want to splice the wire and then get some open wire on it, thread it in to this. There's a little Allen head, so you just slide the wire in here, tighten it down. You have a fuse in the center, then you just splice another wire on the other end, thread it in, tighten it down, put you a terminal on the end, connect it to the battery post, and you're set. And then I'm going to test everything out, but it is insanely windy. We have like 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts going on right now. All of my shit's just flying across the yard, so that's why I'm not really trying to talk to the camera too much. I'm just trying to go, but we've got the wire ran. It's all loomed. Can't see anything in here. It's wire loomed all the way up to the top. You come back here, it's wire loomed all the way through, ran through the carpet. Everything's wire loomed right here. Goes in to our amp. I ran new wire to that one because it wasn't long enough. This was way too short, so I ran new wire to it. It's coming out the bottom, runs all the way across the bottom, comes out right here. We have this one coming out into our channel 1 and our channel 4, which we're on channel 1 and channel 4 with our coax cables. So all that's all set. I have our negative set right here with this tightened down just so I can test everything. Once I make sure everything works, I'm gonna throw the seat back in and we'll be set. I'm not tightening this down. The last person who put the CD player back here, they drilled holes in the floor. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. This isn't gonna go anywhere. Once this is in, it's not even gonna be able to slide out of the seat, so I'm not worried about that. But no more holes in the floor. This fits back here almost perfect. There's a little spot back there where, like, I think a child's car seat hooks. I'm not taking that out because I plan on having kids. So if I have to find a way to go underneath the sub box, I will, but I don't want to remove that. I definitely want to put a car seat in here once upon a time. So leaving that there. Gonna run everything, hook everything up, then we're testing it. Everything is connected. I got it connected to the battery. Our negative cables are reconnected, so we now will have power in the truck. You guys want to know how I was talking about how strong the wind was outside? It blew that freaking seat over, and that thing weighs like 50-60 pounds, and it just blew it over like it was nothing. It is gusting outside. It is horrible. But let's go ahead, get this thing fired up and see. Amp is working. What's nice is I now can start my truck in the cold because I have new batteries. That was the issue the whole time. Just like that. Now I have to reset up my radio.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Everything's working.
Coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. They don't apply my elimination.
And nothing is turned up. That amp's basically set the way it was from factory. So I can adjust it some and get some play out of there. I'm gonna turn my high pass filter off, so it's just straight lows the entire time, adjust our gain and everything a little bit. But I said, it's a 600 watt amp, so it's not gonna kill those subs. And I would link the amp and the subs down below, but that amp came out in like 2012. You cannot buy that amp anymore. Those subs I got, I believe, in 2014. So I doubt you can even get those same subs anymore. Or else I would link all that down below. But if you guys want, I will link a amp I have used in the past, and I will link a different set of kicker subs down in the description. So if you're looking for just something basic to throw in the back of your truck, kind of like I did here, then go down to the description, it'll be down there. I'm gonna sit here and mess with some songs for a little bit, and then we're gonna get the seat thrown back in, get everything tightened down, and end the video out. All right, guys, if you're planning on doing this, I just read some forums. I never really checked into them because I knew I had that box in the F-150, and I figured, hey, if it's behind the seat of that single cab, it should fit behind the seat in this crew cab. It does fit, but it doesn't at the same time. So as you can tell, the seat's up, but the seat is not latched, and it will not latch because the very top of the sub box is hitting here, and the sub box is literally just like a 1/4 inch too wide on each side to where it's hitting these latches on the very corner of it. So it's not allowing it to latch. And as you can tell, it's underneath this. I had to pull out all these little pins and pull this up. I had to angle the box forward and shove it in backwards. It's actually not touching the back of the cab at the bottom, but it's touching up top. I don't know if you can tell on the GoPro, but there's this little ridge right here, and a lot of the people say that that's their issue with sub boxes in the back, is it hits there's like 4 of those ridges across the back, and they're actually in the cab. If you take this out, it'll probably give you enough room to slide this back. It might not. And I didn't want to have to pull this out and it not work, and then me have to fight to get this back in, because I messed with the seat a lot. I unbolted and bolted the seat probably a good 20 times. It's been about 2 hours since I picked you guys up last, and the biggest issue I had was I could not get that side to go down. As you can tell, the whole thing's underneath, and what I thought was a latch for a car seat is actually where the factory jack mounted. I figured it mounted in that because that's where it was when I got the truck, but it mounted to this, and this is held in with 2 8mm. I pulled it out. As you can see, I'd hammered these down and hammered this down as I was trying to flatten it out, and then I felt this and I was like, I'm not going to be able to flatten that down. So I pulled the carpet up, took those 2 8mm out. That let the passenger side drop down, so I dropped it down, slid it underneath here, and then we were able to get the seat to go like this. Before, the seat was kind of stuck like this, and I want people to be able to sit back here and still be comfortable, so it's literally like a 1/4 inch away from latching. So we're sacrificing, like, we're talking 5 to 10 degrees of back angle sitting like this. I'll get in here. So I actually sat in here for like 10 minutes each time to make sure, like, hey, am I comfortable like this? Because I would like to, you know, have people go with us on road trips, friends and family and whatever, when we have kids in the future. I don't know how long I'm gonna have this truck. I'm only planning on like 2 or 3 years. So if we have kids in the next 2 or 3 years, then, you know, it's not gonna be that big of a deal. They're gonna be young enough to probably still be in car seats or booster seats. So them sitting up a little bit is not gonna hurt them. But, you know, if you're 30, 40 years old, you don't want to be sitting hunched over the whole time. That's gonna kill your back, because it'll kill my back. And I'm only 24, but I do have medical problems with my back. But not trying to ramble on. I didn't want the seat leaning forward. I didn't want it to have an acute angle. I wanted obtuse. I wanted it leaning back. You know, math stuff, geometry, English, social studies, I don't know. But So I fought and fought and fought. Getting that bracket out helped a lot, and then sliding the sub underneath the back helped a lot too. And now I think we're sitting somewhere around 90 degrees total, which is perfectly fine. You're just sitting straight up the whole time. If you wanted to lean back, all you gotta do is push your butt forward and you can lean back and you're comfortable. I mean, I could sit back here. I wanted to make sure that the seat was still fine. In the future, I plan on sound deadening this truck. I plan on pulling the whole carpet up, probably replacing the carpet and sound deadening. That like 50 millimeters is definitely going to stop that from fitting. So I'm gonna have to either pull the sub box out then or get a different sub box, shave that one some. I'm gonna have to figure something out when that time comes. But as of right now, everything fits and everything is fine. So that's all that matters. Everything works. Everything's hooked up, seats back in, seats bolted down, seat belts are still here. You can still grab your seat belt back there. Seat's still comfortable. That is all that matters. We're sitting inside the truck still because it is windy as hell outside. But this is where I'm going to close the video off at. I'm thinking for that little tray right there, I think I'm gonna, like I said, bolt it to that 2x8 I've got in the garage, throw that in the bed. I want to get some type of like milk crates or like some type of storage back there that I can put stuff in, but I don't want them to tip over. So I'm trying to, you know, pick my brain for an idea. So if you guys have any, let me know down below what's a good storage for back in the bed. Because I want to be able to put like transmission fluid, oil, my diesel additive that I put in every fill up from Hot Shot Secrets, just other like random things that I might need, tow straps, jumper cables, all that stuff I want to be able to put in the bed but still have the tonneau cover, and I don't want it just sliding back and forth and rolling around. So if you guys have some ideas, drop them down below, let me know. And if this is your first time here, go check out another video. If you like this video, let me know down in the comments by leaving me a comment, positive, something that's gonna brighten my day and someone else's day that's gonna rate it. I love brightening people's day. It's the whole motive in Be Fucking Great. Just have a great day, guys. I love you all. Thanks for stopping by. If you're not subscribed, hit that red button. Check out a couple of other videos. It really helps the algorithm. If you leave one of my videos and go to another one of my videos, YouTube's like, oh shit, this guy's not that bad. So it doesn't hurt. Go watch another video you haven't seen before. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Love y'all.